So while managing this fund over the last 16 years, it has been a great experience meeting top management. And during this period, what I have learned is that you have to bet on the right management, because that is what makes a difference to the company over market cycles. Management which has a vision to really look beyond the current and look into the future, which is able to adapt to the circumstances around that and is able to innovate. I think such companies have been able to really do well across business cycles and do well over a long period of time. So endeavor has to be identify such companies. Also, when we look at businesses, we are looking at companies which have some kind of a key competitive advantage, okay, or a moat, which gives him the companies a particular advantage in terms of margins into the distribution, which will lead to sustainable earnings over the longer term. And over a period of time, we've seen that the focus should not be more on profit, but also in cash flow generation. What are the cash flows the company is able to generate, and more so the free cash flows after capital expenditure, because that is what creates wealth over the longer term. So companies which have delivered that, I think, have done fairly well. And normally we look at businesses which are growing faster than the GDP or growing faster than its category and gaining market share. So that is been kind of a philosophy, okay, which one we have adopted to look at businesses which are growing slightly faster than the market. And other learning, I think, in terms of the portfolio construction and management, I would say is that it's important to have a good blend of top-down and bottom-up selection. Top-down in terms of trying to identify which are the sectors, which are the industries which will do well over the medium to long term. If you're able to get that call right, depending on the domestic macro and the global macro, I think that takes care of half the job is done over there. And then look at bottom up based on the criteria which I talked about. I think that has enabled us to really ensure that get more consistency in this fund across business cycles. And also having a proper discipline in terms of trying to manage the risk in the portfolio, because we've seen that during volatile times, how to ensure that the portfolio does well relative to the peers and vis-a-vis the benchmark. So I think managing the risk in the portfolio, both at the stock level and the sector level, has also been a key learning and an attribute which is important to ensure that the fund does consistently well across the various market cycles.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.